Welcome to Business Africa. This week we'll take a closer look at Burkina Faso's mining sector, which is threatened by terrorism. Business is at standstill in 4 mining companies, mainly due to insecurity. Several others are experiencing supply issues. Lomé hosted the second edition of the Africa Financial Industry Summit. The meeting aims to propose concrete solutions to the establishment of a robust financial industry in order to facilitate the continent's growth. Finally, we'll head to Tabaka, in the village located a few kilometers from the capital Nairobi. Soapstone has been mined for generations. However, in recent months, the absence of tourists has badly impacted the town's small industries. Each year, the mining sector in Burkina Faso used to contribute significantly to the economy of the West African country. With the increase in terrorist attacks, operations were suspended in several mines. As a result, between 2,000 to 3,000 direct jobs are endangered. So too are revenues collected by the authorities.
Gold production is Burkina Faso's primary export product. Over the past 15 years, the country has become one of the top 5 gold producers in Africa, alongside such giants as Ghana, South Africa, and Mali. From about 5 tons of gold in 2008, the Sahelian nation recorded 62 tons in 2020 and 66 the year after. In the first half of 2022, the country was able to produce nearly 39,000 kilograms of gold. While it is significant to note that about 17 mining companies in operation contributed 16.2% of the gross domestic product (GDP) and 83.90% of export earnings in 2020, the sector's good health has been threatened in recent years by attacks from terrorist groups. Since the end of last September, 4 mines have been shut down. They include those in Tabaka, Yuga, Nitiana, and Riverstone Kama. In addition, the convoy of necessary products and the personnel of the industrial mines have also been a regular target by terrorists, all of which is leading to fears of a decrease in foreign investment.
I'm joined by Priscille Zongo, Executive Director at the Burkina Faso Chamber of Mines. What's the economic impact of the closure of the 4 mines on the state's budget?
The impacts due to the cessation of activity of the mine are the loss of jobs. We have estimated that approximately 2,500 jobs will be lost. In addition to jobs, we think that the contribution to the state budget, that is the payment of taxes, well, the state may not be able to collect them this year. They are estimated at around 25 to 30 billion CFA francs. Besides, there are contracts with subcontractors, and these subcontractors will lose market shares, and all of this will result in a loss of revenue for the state budget.
What strategies can you implement to bring investors back?
In our discussions with the state, we have listed a number of initiatives that need to be carried out to reassure investments. So first, there is the securing of mining sites, and secondly, there is the securing of supplies. The third solution is to secure the research areas of the research sites, because it is today's research that makes tomorrow's mine. And with the security situation, we have seen that research has almost disappeared. So in order to renew the mines that are currently in production, we must also act to reassure the research structures so that they can continue the research.
In your opinion, why has ONAZIM, the body in charge of security in mining environments, not operated correctly so far?
I think that we should talk about revitalizing or strengthening ONAZIM because it is already operational. But it turns out that mines in Burkina are not in only one region. The mines are almost in every region, so we need to have men to deploy them on each mining site. And the research sites are also numerous. So it's not easy to have the men needed to deploy them to each site. Therefore, there is a need to be able to bring together the forces with the other expenses in order to find the necessary men.
Is it not time to improve the mining sector's industrialization for more added value?
For us, the creation of added value in Burkina Faso is an important step, and the 2015 Code has opened this path. And from 2021 and 2002, we have worked to put in place texts to be able to deal with the theme of local content. And I think that the next 10 years will really be devoted to making Burkina Faso an industrial country and considering the needs of mines to produce. This is how we will be able to capitalize on the benefits of the Burkina Faso mining sector.
Thank you, Madame Priscille Zongo. Dozens of experts gathered in the Togolese capital on November 28 and 29 to attend the Africa Financial Industry Summit and discuss bold strategies to make the financial industry a pillar of the African economy. Our correspondent in Togo, Serge Kofi, has more on this.
In the face of the current economic crisis, the African financial sector wants to recompose itself and move to a world-class financial industry. This is the objective of the African Financial Industry Summit. A wide range of topics were discussed, and they included green finance, insurance consolidation, credit risk, financial inclusion, cryptocurrency, and the crucial issue of SME financing. 62% of SMEs in Africa do not have access to bank loans, a financing gap estimated at over $330 billion. Should we lend more even if the risk of default remain high? Many points to technology with disruptive players such as fintechs. Banks have the capacity to generate sufficient data that can allow them to measure risks without having financial statements. Scoring, for example, is based on data and analysis of this data to make lending decisions. This can be very useful for many banks and institutions in the absence of formalization of SMEs. The financing of energy access was also discussed. It now seems ready for a decarbonization transition with renewable energy in place. If Africa gets on board, this could represent more than 80% of new electricity production capacity by 2030.
I think
that Africa and governments must seize this carbon credit opportunity. The African market is the maker here to these carbon credits. States must know that this liquidity exists. The question that now remains is, should we move to a central bank digital currency and cryptocurrency? Stakeholders see it as a tool to improve financial services, but call for the formalization of clear regulations.
Donc nous, ce qu'on a dit sur le panel, c'était...
What we said on the panel was that it was important to create a legal regulatory framework that is transparent, that is very understandable by all, and that can allow for a much easier adoption.
Parce que tant qu'on ne comprend pas l'outil, on ne peut pas l'adopter.
More than 600 leaders, bankers, insurance, regulators, central bank governors, public policy makers participated in this 2022 edition. The summit will again be held in 2023 for even a more ambitious third edition.
We leave Lomé for Kenya to introduce you to renowned sculptors from the village of Tabaka. The heydays of the small town were cut short by the coronavirus pandemic. Even though traders are slowly finding new happiness, they must now face two challenges: a low number of tourist arrivals and the obligation to work with intermediaries.
These soapstone mines have made the village of Tabaka famous. Located 6 hours from the capital, Nairobi, stone mining and carving employs hundreds of people here. Australia, Canada, and the United Kingdom are among the main destinations for the end products. But since the coronavirus pandemic, tourists are scarce and revenues have plunged. We sell our products to people who then send them to Nairobi or abroad. We're asking the authorities to intervene because the middlemen are exploiting us. In Tabaka, this woman has operated this sculpture shop for more than 40 years. She says she has never seen visitor numbers this low. Before Corona struck, a number of foreign tourists would flock here because most of them knew me as Big Mama. Some of them would put me in touch with buyers from their home countries, after which I would transport the goods to Nairobi for shipment by air. The people here feel that the village could grow as a major mining and tourist town, but that would take support from the government to businesses and miners to happen.
That brings this episode of Business Africa to a close. See you soon.